Hello everybody! Hello everybody! Lance here, and I am recording myself from my webcam that I totally just found out today, or at least remembered I had a webcam to begin with, and I thought, wait, if I'm going to be recording myself reading poetry or doing covers, wouldn't it be more practical to do it directly from my computer? Because usually I have to take this webcam, this web camera, which by the way doesn't like to balance that well. I have to keep it upright on a table, and I have to keep it several feet away so it can capture my whole body in perspective, which is really difficult because I'm pretty damn tall. And it's difficult. It's tenuous. It's meticulous. It's bothersome. And realizing that, wait, I have a webcam, and I can upload them directly from YouTube after I'm done with the video. I mean, what the fuck? What was I thinking? What the hell was I thinking? I guess I just forgot. I totally forgot. And now, considering that, I will not be using my camera anymore. At least, not for things that require me, not for things that I can do just directly off the computer. If I have to record things away where, you know, the mobility of the camera will benefit me, I will do it. I will do it. It's better for everybody. For you, for me, and who else? I don't know. Anyway, on to the main point of my little discovery. So, it's been a few days that I've been having to argue with this particular person who was a, so to speak, born-again Christian. And yeah, anyway, so I had this discussion with this person. I wasn't trying to, well, it was strange because I had known them for about like a year before, and they weren't Christian beforehand. They actually did not adjourn to the methods of the Bible and whatnot, and then all out of the blue, she became a Christian. I wouldn't have known because I usually talk to her online, so it was weird for me to find out. I'm not saying that, oh, well, she shouldn't have been a Christian. It's like, oh, she couldn't have possibly been a Christian. I was just surprised. I was more or less just surprised. And the problem I had not with her being a Christian was that she was, to me, it sounded like she was not being a, she hadn't converted for the right reasons, you know, for moral guidance, or whatever, trying to save yourself, or trying to find a bearing between what you do and what is right and wrong and whatnot. And with all the fundamentalist Christians, they always have their own extremes that contradict what the Bible is trying to interpret. They always they always keep putting things in the Bible like as if that was part of God's will, but they keep throwing more bullshit in. And supposedly she's the kind of Christian that is more accepting of, you know, atheists and other people who don't believe in her religion, and that I would say that she could also be appalled to those who don't accept others for what kind of religion they believe in. But that still didn't make me more or less concerned of why did she decide to become Christian. I was just strange because there was this guy that she hung out with near her hometown, and he would, well, as she would tell me, he was kind of an asshole in his sort. He was kind of one of those fundamentalist Christians trying to shove his religion down upon her and say that she is lost and that she's imperfect or imbalanced, that she somehow needs this Bible to help her better herself, even though she was already good in my eyes. And I still think she's a more or less good person, whether or not she was Christian or not. And that's what I was worried about, was that did he somehow convert her? That I guess after all the bullshit that he had to threaten her to keep pouncing on her with all this Here, read the Bible, you'll make yourself better. Make yourself better. You won't be all moralist. You won't want to watch pornography. You're not feeling yourself naked. That's a sin. Like everything else. Except for America. Yeah, that kind of bullshit. Anyhow, I just felt she was doing this for the wrong reasons. That's all I was thinking. That perhaps she was doing this for a wrong reason. I wasn't saying that she should have to, be an atheist again, or whether or not atheist was the right thing. It's just, I want to know if this was the right thing. I want to know if this was the right thing to do. And trying to get it down, it's really hard to talk to someone who just found out Christianity, because they're still trying to look upon it, and they say that, she tells me that God is right and pure and that she made the right decision. And what became even more crazy was that she loved this guy. She was falling in love with this guy who treated her like shit, who was rude and disrespectful and thought she was unclean. That, it was just, oh, you're lost. You have to have God to make yourself found again. And I guess she somehow found herself. That, I guess the reason, I always said that I didn't know, but I actually do know why. She had some difficulties with her music. She was not, she didn't seem to be getting anywhere progress-wise with it, and that, I guess with God, she found that. That's what she is telling me. That's what she's telling me, how she found God. But with Ross, okay, I'm not going to even mention him by name now. That was horrible of me to do that. Anyhow, so I had a little bit of an argument, and I told her, based on the facts, trying to read the Bible, trying to take everything, realistically, if you want to believe that everything in the Bible happened, which is stupid to say to begin with. If you're going to believe that everything in the Bible happened, which is not the point of the Bible, I mean, it's stupid. So, I was telling her about how exactly is Satan evil, and trying to paraphrase and quote this from The Amazing Atheist. He mentioned about this couple who died, who got killed by Satan, but that was by God's permission, so that's not a sin necessarily. That's actually God's sin, that he allowed Satan to do this, and then making, not us, but Adam and Eve, or at least, not even Adam, just Eve, eat the apple that destroyed our immortality. And that's it. That's really it. Those are really the only two things mentioned in the Bible, at least all the other renditions I can imagine. Those are the only two things. And with God, there's a whole number of things that he's done wrong. He's flooded a whole fucking world, at least, if you want it. I know this is not real. This has never happened. It can never be scientifically proven that this happened. It's not possible. Even if all the polar ice caps melt, it would only rise the sea level by 75 feet. Okay, New Orleans is going to be like the new modernized Atlantis, but still got a lot of land left. There's still a lot of land that is usually over 75 feet above sea level. I know I'd probably be fine. Maybe. We're 65 feet above sea level, and the only threat we have is a river, more or less, but that isn't flooding the whole world. If you want to talk about flooding the whole world, you'd have to flood it all the way up to the peak of Mount Everest, which is 27,000 feet. So even if all the polar ice caps melt, there'd still be about, 26,925 more feet left of Mount Everest. Not even to mention where the summit lies. It could be thousands of feet above sea level already. So that wouldn't mean that Mount Everest would already be somewhat submerged. It could still be baseless. It could still be dry. Anyhow, that's scientifically speaking. But if I'm going to try to interpret, I'm trying to get an idea, trying to go into their crazy mind and try to understand why they think God is so great, I take it from I take it from them, from the facts. And the fact is that God technically is a much more evil man. And the whole reason he flooded this whole world was that, oh, not enough people believed in me. And isn't that selfish and shallow that some person would just kill everybody, even the people who loved him, just because, oh, well, there wasn't enough people who loved me enough, so everybody's a sinner. Everyone's got to die except for these two men and two of every animal on this boat. And it's kind of strange, too, that, they had to build this big-ass boat, but somehow no one else thought that maybe they should have made a boat, too. If they had the technology back then to make a boat of that size, I mean, they probably don't. I mean, normal like vagrants probably wouldn't, but they would have at least had the idea of what a boat is and how to make it if they have the technology. So that means that, technically Noah and whoever the assistant was probably wouldn't have been the only survivors. They probably weren't the only ones that were on a boat. Anywho, and I was telling her about his ideals of condoning rape in several other times. He also destroyed 2 villages because there were some rapists. So apparently that's representative of all the people that are in the village are rapists. Even the fucking babies that were just born are like raping other babies or even full-grown women. That's just fucking strange. That's ridiculous, and it's hard for me to argue with this. And I know that she's out for good, and I've been watching a lot of videos lately about the whole fundamentalist Christian, and I feel like I'm not being accepting of her for her religion. I'm feeling like I'm a fundamentalist atheist, if that's even a term that can be described, because where she's just saying how she's been guided and that she's not trying to shove this down my throat. I feel threatened. I'm feeling like a child. I'm feeling like I am, and why I should somehow try to defend myself. There are valid points for why I don't believe in God. I have my valid points. It's not completely ludicrous. Pretty much Amazing Atheist and Repsion pretty much spell it out all for me why I don't believe in God. I used to think I was a half Christian, and that's just ridiculous, but I was young then, so I made that weird term up because I was young and I was brought to a lot of church camps or church little activities, but since I was only there for the activity, I wasn't in it for the God. So I don't know if that's a justifiable reason why I am an atheist, but I do reading the Bible and reading the points of view between atheist and Christian. I strongly believe I am an atheist, that there is no scientific proof that God exists. Anyhow, I am probably in the wrong with this, because where Repsion and Amazing Atheists have tried to make their claims out to people of extreme natures, they've done this on the hopes that somehow learning from this would allow them to change who they are. Like with Onision, for example, his narcissism is just beyond great lengths, that he can claim these ridiculous facts and rants, and whenever he gets the slightest little criticism, he has to block it, and he has to play the victim on this, when he's ironically making rants. He's making rants and he's making responses and giving advice to people who are legitimately victimized. Anyhow, that's the valid point. And where I'm trying to shove my atheist projections around someone who doesn't shove their fundamentalist Christian projections on me, I admit that what I did was extreme. I wasn't trying to change someone for the better. I was trying to change someone just because that their beliefs are idiotic, and that I'm not fine with that person being Christian. They're fine with me being atheist, but somehow I still have the right to say that they're not allowed to be Christian. So that's where I've just come to realize. I probably know that this is not really important to any of you who view, but maybe try to think of this. Maybe this will be the kind of video that will open the eyes of people who constantly think that they are right. That they constantly think that whatever they say, whatever they fucking spew out of their throats is liable and justifiable, and it cannot be falsified in any sort of way or manner. That sometimes when there is someone who's just fine with whatever you believe in, they just have to understand that they believe in something different, and that there's no way you can change someone. Onision and Repsion and Amazing Atheists, those are all people. You know, they have their opinions, they have their viewpoints, but more or less they cannot be changed. They cannot be changed. They can learn. They can learn from who they are. They can learn from what they say. But more or less, they just can't change who they are. I can't change. But I can learn. And I learned that I was in the wrong. I was honestly in the wrong. I was trying to say that a Christian who is fine, who doesn't try to extort their beliefs upon other people, and say that if you don't believe in them, that they will be going to hell because they don't put the love of some de facto ruler upon people that they know, that they see, that they cared about, that they've been with over the years. In this light, that I'm trying to shove my details upon someone else's throat, because I opinionate that the facts don't matter. It's about the message, where the person has already found the message, is not looking towards the facts. Sure, we could say that God did all that shit. That was quite fucked up. But more or less, the Bible was just meant to, I guess, learn upon that. Learn upon intolerance and humility. Maybe that was the idea, was that they were trying to pin God as, morally evil. Because that's somehow the idea. That if someone you believe is good is not overall perfect. Anyhow, that's just my point of view. It's not something that you have to take as fact. You don't have to take this as something that has to revolve around you. You don't have to revolve around this point. And I don't have to revolve my life around Christianity. And if someone is not revolving their life around Christianity towards me, then I should be fine, and I shouldn't try to revolve my atheism towards them. Same love.